Mhm.
It's something like, it's also something like you have the right to go to hell in a handbasket if that's what you choose. And as long as you don't, so you're not in everyone's way too much. So, and you don't misuse power to oppose that. That's the other thing that worries me about what's going on the utopian front, because the problem is, once you conjure up a climate apocalypse and you make the case that it's an impending disaster that's delayed, and you might say, well, delayed how long? And the response would be, oh, sure, that's for the next 100 years, which is inaccurate. You now have a universe that utilized as psychopaths. They will absolutely do that because power backs usually whenever they can further their cause.
So here's my issue, I think. This is my issue with a lot of people when it comes to political conversations. I think that everything you've said is true. And I think that all of it is, it's good analysis, but I feel like it just gets wielded sometimes in one direction, and then people kind of miss that it completely and fully describes their entire side as well. And the thing that I feel like the only solution for this is, you hinted at it, it's more than just conversation.
Alright, why is this quest not available? What am I missing? So, first things first, I need to see if PvP Arena with my dad. Oh,
Botrix has correctly joined the channel.
oh shit.
Yo. Test.
Low-level atmosphere, which would have been one. On April 2nd, 2024, a potent setup was forecast for the Midwestern states of Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. Multiple long-track, strong to violent tornadoes were forecast to impact the area in the late afternoon hours, which would have been one of the most significant outbreaks in modern history throughout the region. Storm Chaser Stephen Jones and I, along with two friends, were positioned near Cincinnati after a chase the day before. Fortunately, early convection scoured the low-level atmosphere, and although the environment rapidly destabilized amid the cloud breaks, it wasn't enough to materialize a significant outbreak. All said and done, a total of 60 tornadoes have been confirmed to have occurred on April 2nd, with the strongest among 13 EF2s. This full chased video will show a possible weak tornado as it moved across Highway 247 in front of us, Burlington, Kentucky, and into the Cincinnati metro. After that, we hauled southeast to catch up to another cyclic supercell moving toward the West Union, Ohio area. It was here that we intercepted a significant and large multi-vortex tornado. And as far as sounds go, this tornado was very loud. The roar produced was probably my second loudest that I've ever heard, right behind Rolling Fork. Officially, this tornado was rated an EF1 with max wind speeds of 100 miles an hour and was 500 yards wide. Unfortunately, one injury did occur, as multiple structures were impacted and destroyed, and many hardwood trees were snapped. In the end of the video, you'll be able to view aerial drone shots of the damage provided by my good friend and fellow storm chaser Aaron Rigsby with Ohio Storm Chasers. Go check his stuff out in the description. Thank you all for tuning in to this chasing. I hope to see you guys again.
A long fucking quest line, man.
How far away do you want to get away from the interstate?
I'm going to try to clear as much traffic as I can before the RFD. Here's the RFD. We might have a tornado.
We have a tornado.
So I think it does more damage overall, but
Carouseling motion.
Yeah.
That spell isn't ready. I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging. I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready yet.
There is it.
Like tornado imminent carousel motion.
Yeah.
Yep.
I need to get
I'm pretty sure that's
On the ground.
on the ground. It's just even better.
I'm out of range.
Look at that.
That is rapid rotation. That is wanting to be a large tornado.
Isn't ready yet. I need to get closer. That's still I'm out of range. That's still recharging.
I'm badly injured, person. Feel lightheaded.
There is a
World spinning.
large
Bleeding.
occlusion
Internally.
on large
I must get back to Iron Forge.
Yes.
Help me,
Yeah.
adventurer.
I think I see it down. I think that's far away. That may be a road and we'll maybe take a
I
gander
need to
at
target
that.
something. That spell isn't ready. I can't cast it. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready. That's still recharging. I can't drink anymore yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast it yet. That spell isn't ready yet.
It's left. See, look at that right there.
Yeah.
That might be on the ground.
I'm out of dynamite.
Hard cranking around that.
Yeah.
I hear a roar.
So do I.
That's a tornado.
Yeah, it is. That's a big tornado.
Hear the roar.
I need a target. That's still recharging.
The left side.
Jesus.
I can't. That spell isn't ready
Tornado.
yet.
Power flashes. No more power flashes.
We need to go. We need to go West Union now. Just do not fall. Certainly a wedge.
They're very loud.
Very loud tornado.
The place, human.
Very large
Cauldron.
tornado getting ready to head into West Union right now.
I'm not gonna lie, this escort quest sucks.
I have no visual on the tornado, only RFD.
Yeah, I know. I got you, dude. Looks like it's gonna hit town center proper. Yep, it's still in front of us. It's going, getting ready to go through West Union right now.
2 points.
It's too far away.
Don't see.
I can't cast it yet.
Surge.
It's still recharging. That spell isn't ready. That's still recharging. I can't cast it. That spell isn't ready yet. I do for you?
Good, we're still south of the twin.
That spell. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet.
Okay.
This is the 6.
Yeah, we're still good.
Getting RFD punching around the road right now.
Yep.
Hard RFD push here.
Power's out.
Yep. Keep on. Going or buckle up, by the way.
Yeah, just buckle up the case.
I have to slow down here.
Yeah, go ahead and slow down. If anything, it's tough to say. It's like right in front of us.
Listen, if the cars in front of us disappear or go airborne, no stop.
Yeah.
To hit the ditch.
Not hit the ditch. It's
Just right here.
soft.
It's left. See, look at that right there.
Yeah.
That might be on the ground.
Hard cranking around that.
Yeah. What you think?
I hear a roar.
I don't
So do I.
Hey, that's a tornado.
Yeah, it is. That's a big tornado.
Hear the roar.
RFD's gonna punch here.
Gonna get a view of the left edge here. Large tornado.
Power flashes. No more power flashes. Got RFD swinging around on.
All right, we need to go. We need to go to West Union now. Just do not haul. Certainly a wedge.
Hey, very loud.
Very loud tornado. Very large tornado getting ready to head into West Union right now.
That's still recharging. I can't use that. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready. I can't use that. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't carry any more of this.
Yep, it's still in front of us. It's going, get ready to go through West Union right now.
2.8 miles out of West Union.
I'm out of range.
Don't see anything other than
like we're still well south of the tornado. Not by a lot, but a few miles. Okay.
This is the south side of
Yeah.
Union.
Thorium Brotherhood or not, if one of them Dark Iron gets near to me, they'll taste my mattock up the side of their head. Now where can I send you, lad?
Hard RFD push here.
Power's out.
Yep. Keep on, keep on.
You've never seen this side of Jordan Peterson before. The faux moral sophistications of today's environmentalists sent him into a frenzy of emotions and swearing. And maybe you'll agree when I tell you why. I think this conversation at the Hoover Institution peels away the layers to Jordan's exterior persona to reveal a vulnerable core that's hurting for the demoralized modern youth. Take a look at this next clip before we dive into it.
What would you say to them as they begin university at the age of 18 or 19? What's the restorative, the redemptive sentence? What should they do?
Don't be thinking your ambition is corrupt. You know, because that's part of the message now. Human beings, we're a cancer on the planet. We're headed for an environmental apocalypse. The entire historical structure is nothing but atrocity, et cetera, et cetera. Anyone with any ethical aim whatsoever is just going to pull back. You don't want to manifest any ambition, support the patriarchal structure, exploit the environment. You got to crush yourself down. You shouldn't even have any children. It's like, no. There's no excuse for that. There's zero excuse for that.
And I believe that no from Jordan Peterson is set in the backdrop of one critical fact. America's practically the only country adopting this kind of anti-humanist and anti-growth worldview. It's an idea that wants entire countries to crawl into a shell like a turtle and feel safe and virtuous in their lack of impact or action. But here's where it meets its fatal flaw. No other country's willing to go along with these ideas either on a collective or an individual level. Do you think China's willing to recede its influence while it spreads its tentacles through the world's largest network of trading routes in the form of the Belt and Road Initiative? Or do you think Russia's boxing themselves up anytime soon for the sake of the planet? Of course not, because it's only the environmentalism in the West that seems to have been co-opted by a Malthusian kind of pessimism. Just for a bit of context, let me show you the exact words of the man whose ideas are arguably still infused in modern environmentalism. Thomas Malthus wrote this in 1798 in his, quote, essay on the principle of population. And I quote, "The power of population is so superior to the power in the earth to produce subsistence for man that premature death must in some shape or another visit the human race. The vices of mankind are active and able ministers of depopulation. They're the precursors in the great army of destruction and often finish the dreadful work themselves, but should they fail in this war of extermination, sickly seasons, epidemics, pestilence, and plague advance in terror array, and sweep off their thousands and 10,000s? Should success be still incomplete, gigantic inevitable famine stalks in the rear and with one mighty blow, levels the population with the food of the world." So do you see the outdated zero-sum game that this philosophy construes human action and consumption? And yet this idea that human activity or ambition must necessarily be curbed one way or the other to sustain the planet or its resources has been proven wrong every single time. That's exactly true on a more individual level as well, because this zero-sum thinking has enveloped most of our social and political issues as well. If one side wins, the other must lose. If men win, women must lose. If one racial group's doing well, it must be at the expense of the other. And if humanity is flourishing, that means the planet must be suffering. None of those things necessarily follow from the other, and yet it's the philosophy that seeks to tame people's ambition and fire to make them timid and ineffectual. Clearly, it's having a terrible impact on our psychological well-being because a large part of where humans derive their meaning in the first place is achievement, conquest, and ambition.
I saw a professor at an event something like this. He came out and trumpeted this bloody environmentally friendly house he built, and you know, fair enough, man. It was a pretty interesting house, but not everybody had the $4 million that it took him to build it. And I'm not criticizing his money even. It's like, he's had some money, good for him. He built a house, okay. But then to trumpet that as a moral virtue, well, you're pushing it there. And then he came out to all the kids and he said, you know, my wife and I decided that we were only going to have one child. And I think that's one of the most ethical things we could have possibly done. And I would strongly encourage you to do the same. I thought, you son of a... You get up in front of these young people. A lot of these kids were children of first-generation immigrants from China. And he showed all these images, you know, of these terrible factories in China, these endless rows of sterile mechanism that were subordinating all the Chinese people to this terrible, you know, capitalist machine. And I thought, you don't understand. Half the audience is looking at those factories and thinking, that's a hell of a lot better than struggling through the mud under Mao, buddy. And so, I don't know where he thought he was, but to come out in front of all those kids and basically tell them that the whole human enterprise is so goddamn corrupt that the best thing they could possibly do is limit their multiplication, and to think of himself as a scholar and an educator was just, I did say something, by the way. It was rather uncomfortable, and he stomped off the stage. But that's no message for young people. There's no excuse for that. And you think, well, you know, we're going to destroy the planet. We have to do this. We have to demoralize the youth to be ethical. It's like, yeah, really, that's your theory? You're going to demoralize young people to be ethical? That's your theory? It's like, you should go home and think about that for like a year. And I'm passionate about this, you know, because you have no idea how many people that's killing.
Well met.
You have no idea. I see people everywhere, all over the world. They're so demoralized, especially young people with a conscience, because they've been told since they were little that there's nothing to them but corruption and power. It's like, how the hell do you expect them to react? You know, well, I shouldn't do anything, man, you know?
Those were strong words there from Jordan, but perhaps that's the only thing that does justice to what he feels seeing a swath of the population so hollowed out of meaning and ambition, and it's a problem that arguably hits men even harder because nature doesn't give them something to live for in the way it gives to women in the form of children. Jordan Peterson once made this clear in one simple sentence, quote, "Women already know what to do, men have to figure out what to do." What do you think is the impact of a culture that's stripping their strength, drive for conquest or achievement, and the desire to leave a legacy in the form of children? We even saw this when a far-left strand of the feminist movement called on men to stop working out or going to the gym because it supposedly perpetuates toxic masculinity. That's a glimpse of the world we find ourselves in, and it leaves no question why depression and loneliness are on the rise, another source of meaning for a lot of people in the lineage they leave behind in the form of children. But on a grander scale, it's not just meaning but the most necessary mechanism for the survival of the species. Sure, people in this modern advanced civilization may be able to get away with having
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, Ted Cruz isn't my favorite politician, but he also isn't my least favorite politician. You know, he kind of falls within, I'd say, the higher half, let's just say that. And the reason that is I feel like most of what he does is generally symbolic. It feels political, it feels like an image thing rather than an actual fight that he's willing to take on. And look, maybe it's not a fair criticism because it's hard to do anything on your own in Washington, but that's just one of my perceptions of Ted Cruz. But then I have also positive perception, let's call it Ted Cruz's strength, and where Ted Cruz is the strongest is in messaging. I mean, that's what the guy does. He's good at distilling very complex ideas into very simple sound bites that even the most
see.
DC. DC. Felled him.
So again, I mean, I don't think people are saying that there's ballistic missiles next. And yeah, there's ballistic missile launch when this reporting started. I think there have been impacts and Israel by now. So we have to just wait and see on that. But the reality is that ballistic missiles are much more targetable than drones. I mean, again, drones, you can target them, but their accuracy is not quite as substantial.
Still.
And the burden on a drone is going to be significantly smaller than most ballistic missiles. Rockets have a
That's still recharging.
Israel, that would be a significant escalation.
I can't cast it.
Fight your own battle.
That spell isn't ready.
I wondered about that because the reports are coming from the
That spell isn't ready. I can't cast
the
it.
United States that these drones, I believe that they are the slow-moving Shahad 136 bomb-carrying drones, are on their way, and several of them have
Bag 1, 2, and 3.
been shot down. Andrew, I'm wondering how the United States strategy with Iran can shift. Obviously, we don't have diplomatic relationships. It is a tenuous relationship at best, but how might those relationships change?
That spell isn't ready. That's still recharging.
Relationship change. I mean, we have goals that are consistent for the security of the United States when it comes to an adversary like Iran. Our tactics may change. Purchased both Israel and its neighbors, the Jordanians, and our own partners, such as the British, may change because, again, if in fact these weapons do impact Israel and are not bullshit, which we know that the drones, and if there's any ballistic
attacks originating in Iran rather than one of these proxy groups. One of the biggest escalations in the Middle East that we've seen in depth. Wondering, given that Israel is already fighting Hamas in Gaza, it has problems in the West Bank and Hezbollah, can it actually engage on a third front in an actual hot war with Iran?
Sweeping strikes.
Forget about me. Help the others.
Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Iranians is one point, but can the United States avoid being dragged into such a regional conflict? So again, we being the United States and the Biden administration absolutely does not want any new data done at once due to with the forces we have in the region, helping the Israelis with their partners in the region, such as the Jordanians try to prevent that escalation. But again, if these weapons do impact in Israel and they do kill Israeli citizens,
That spell isn't ready.
to privately negotiate with their allies to ensure that they don't escalate beyond what is absolutely necessary. Resistance on trying to erase the memory, so to speak, of that horrific incident where 1,200 Israelis were murdered by Hamas and then several hundred more were kidnapped. I mean, one of the ways in the history of military conflict and political problems is to start another conflict. And again, in this case, would be with Hezbollah or Iran to erase those issues that the Netanyahu government has since October 7th. We would really, that would be a huge mistake.
I need to get closer. I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready.
Absolutely, and even as we discussed, worst cases potentially in the future. I also want to note that we now have confirmed from our sources that President Biden's meeting in the Situation Room has now begun with his advisors. Andrew, what are some of the conversations that are going to be taking place there?
So President Biden's national security team will be talking about various scenarios that could unfold over the next couple hours, the next 12 hours, the next 24 hours, and what various options they would endorse, both for our commander in the field, that in this case,
It's too far away.
Snap W2. Free. Roughly 37% tax payers qualified. 1040 and limited credits only. Get your job.
I need a
That was from the Guardian. Snake on Gaza says Biden encourages Israel to push for a ceasefire. Biden actually said he wants a 6 to 8 week ceasefire. It's saying everybody is like it no matter what he does. And now you got people on the right being like, there's still American hostages in Israel. And here's my favorite part. Biden vows ironclad U.S. commitment to Israel amid fears of Iran attack. I need to So he comes out and goes, we will defend them no matter what. His words meaningless completely. Iran said attack Israel. Israel said they'll attack Iran, and then Biden says no matter what happens, we'll defend Israel. So when he says Israel's doing bad in Gaza, what we do, you will defend us. So have a nice day. It's just duplicitous garbage, and we're going to find ourselves entangled in this conflict.
Right.
We are entangled.
It's terrible fun sitting on the Biden administration. They're trying to win every side of the meetings. The Democrats issue. Suffer in the process. If he's committed to Israel,
People, man, that's I don't know, man. I gotta not that's Judaism. That's what it is. You know, it's not about Judaism. How much well, this is the opposite of what Hitler did. Hitler would talk a lot about how before it was like before Israel was formed, but he would talk about it. So Hitler didn't do this because there was no Israel. When was Israel formed? 1949, I think so. 48. It's been saying things like this for quite some time because of what Joe Biden and Democrats represent. And perhaps, towards me, I would have put it a bit more eloquently. You should examine.
Would you have used the Joe Biden paraphrase and say if you're
from you're Jewish.
I feel like that would still
To me, that's a lot like what Trump caught a lot of hell for this too. But I think it was at a rally when he was talking about black voters, saying, you know, as a group, you've been voting for Democrats for decades. You know, give me a try. What the hell do you have to lose? That means, to me, it's very simple to that. I do think Trump is funny again. The restaurant.
Yeah, everyone's really excited to see him. I just don't see this escalation. You know, he doesn't have
Cannibalize.
compete on this level with Trump. Trump is the popular vote for a reason. He's literally popular.
Yeah. Then this thing,
Still.
we were talking about Gen Z voters and talking about how they can't afford rent and things like that. Now, to me, this campaign shakes up the 2024 campaign. It's set up really perfectly for Donald Trump because now voters have the benefit of being able to compare the two presidencies side by side. And it really is a true rematch. We had Trump as president for 4 years.
I can't cancel
4 years of Biden. And you can see the comparison. And to me, I think side by side, election easily. I think it's going to end up being really, really tight, just like 2016 and 2020. It's going to be like 3 states, with the 2 of them separated by 10, 20,000 votes in each state. It's basically a coin flip in those 3 states who's going to win. And that's 7 months from now, so who knows? But it is really set up really well for Donald Trump.
Yeah, but there's probably some kind of shadow campaign, if you know what I mean.
So, look, in 2020, I remember we were at a rally in Battle Creek, Michigan in December of 2019. We were at a rally there, and at the same exact moment back in Washington, Nancy Pelosi.
Oh my god, bro.
And we thought at that time, man, this is going to be the dominant issue. Impeachment. Stood to reason, right? He got impeached by the House. It's going to be a best campaign issue. We didn't know anything about COVID or anything else, so God knows what's going to happen. So
I need a
it's not the way the race ends up. We don't know. I think the Social Security numbers, we brought this up like 9 after. We do not want to beat a dead horse. You may not be familiar with it though. If you know the audience is almost by now.
So those guys, have you seen the Social Security verification numbers that show hundreds of thousands of people without IDs trying to register in various states?
No.
So it's a big story of the past couple of weeks. There's something called the Help America Vote Verification. When someone tries to register to vote without an ID, they have to use their social.
many years since I have had visitors.
Records. And Texas is registering something like 200,000 every 2 weeks. Texas denied this, saying, no, we haven't done this, but the Social Security Administration is reporting they did.
Something first.
Missouri, on February 17th, had 23,000 deceased people, according to the SSA, tried to register to vote without IDs.
And for records, where's this been? In Missouri, 80,000 people were attempted registration. 25,000 of them were dead. That's a third of them. In the hell is going on? Look at these numbers. This is like, so where are you getting this from?
The Social Security SSA.gov.
Really?
This is a Social Security Administration website. And it's something called Help America Vote Verification. And they say HAVV is for states to submit only new voters who do not present a valid license during the voter registration process. February 17th is one of the most suspect weeks because Missouri registered, I shouldn't say the word register, because what I mean to say is they noted 78,000 registrations with no IDs, 23,000 were deceased. And this is single match deceased. These are registrations that came back, matched in their database as a dead person. And Texas has said.
So were these rejected?
Or they don't reject. What they do is they so let's say you're in Missouri, you register to vote.
The state says this person did not have an ID. Can we get the SSA to verify this is a real person? The SSA then says, you are alive, you are dead, we're not your database. So they told Missouri, yes, 23,000 of the people who submitted are dead. Here's your thank you and have a nice day. And then it's up to Missouri to do. Texas issued a statement, Secretary of State denying that they actually registered this many people. They're like, we don't know what you're talking about. It must be a wrong number. And I'm like, I'm gonna say this is maybe it's the Social Security Administration is broken. Because we can check it out. Texas has been consistently in 100, 200,000. If come November, Texas goes Democrat, I'm surprised.
Well, they wouldn't say they're going to win Texas every election for the last election. So, I mean, do you think this has something to do with yes, I do. You don't know the mix.
Some of it maybe, I'll tell you why. You can see here on the website, total non-matches. Interesting number. In this, let's go to Texas. There were 36,000 non-matches. That means out of 219,000 registrations, 36,000 did not get a proper Social Security number. I'm sure some of them could be incorrectly filled out forms. That number says to me, yeah, it seems like there's a lot of non-citizens trying to register to vote. Who knows necessarily? We don't know for sure. But I think when you look at Pennsylvania, Texas, and I think it's more indicative of somebody has access to DMV records and voter registration records. Cross references them, removing all that appear on both, and then finding all of the DMV, all the people who are listed on the DMV registration or who are registered with the DMV or MVA who have not registered to vote, and he can then register on those people's behalf without them knowing to bunk addresses where they can then get the universal mail-in vote or do something like that.
So are some of these states, like I can see from across here, Virginia, it looks like it's in single digits.
Yeah, let's go to the week ending March 30th. So this is the most recent data.
So I wonder if some of these...
New Mexico is 0. New Hampshire is 0. You've got Mississippi 36. You've got Maryland 2,619. I mean, these numbers could make sense. Arizona 25,000 seems kind of odd.
I wonder if you see these big numbers spike, like that's a 5-digit number, right? Yeah, Arizona is a key battleground state.
Sure is. Right. So Pennsylvania too.
You do. You go back months and look at Texas, and it slowly goes down 150,000.
Then it goes back up.
180,000.
It's 200.
I should say, I think it has to do with the illegal immigration, that they're going to be trying to register people that aren't citizens. I have no evidence. It's just a thought, and it's a correlation. There's this illegal immigration.
It could be, to be fair, that Joe Biden is
Tremor.
rich, so he has the undead vote. And Trump has worked very hard to get the undead vote.
Will rise.
He's a necromancer on his campaign.
He's going to need to do a tour of the underworld. I'll go.
Still.
I mean, Biden is so close to getting the new fight, you know what I mean?
If you went with Donald Trump, you'd have
To Hollow Earth, probably. All this stuff.
That would be one of the greatest comedy movies of all time.
To the Hollow Earth.
Journey to the Center of Hollow Earth with Donald Trump.
Yeah, you see the wind blowing in my hair as we're like flying on some magical donkey like through this giant cavern.